We're here with David Walls, Head of Player Personnel at the Fremantle Dockers. Wallsy, preparations for the trade period have been underway throughout the year. How do you feel now it's finally here?
It's an exciting time. We're in the fortunate position where we got the 3 first-round picks. We've also got pick 27 as well. So, yeah, exciting time. We've got the combine coming up this week, the national combine, then the state screening, and head into the trade period next week. So, looking forward to having a good outcome for the club.
Speaking of those 3 first rounders, we currently have 9, 10 and 16. What are our tactics around those picks?
Like I said, fortunate position. Add in 27 as well. We feel like it's a really strong draft this year. There's a lot of different types as well. So, in terms of players that play different roles and positions and needs that we have on the list. So, we'll go in with an open mind, but also very mindful that it's a strong draft and a lot of different types in the draft that can fill some needs for us.
There's a few players that have expressed an interest in returning back to WA. Would we entertain those offers?
Club has done a really good job with extending out a lot of players and being a place that players want to stay at but also want to come to, and there's a few different options this year with players that are playing for Eastern State clubs that are looking to come back to WA originally from there. So, we'll look at everything and just try what we think is the best long-term decision for the club.
Now, do you look back and think, while last trade period we lost a few players, but 12 months later that could actually work in our favour with this year's draft picks?
Yeah, it's never, you never like losing quality players, but sometimes it creates opportunity as well. So I think Lachie Schultz was the example last year where we wanted to keep him, but we were able to get a second round pick in last year's draft, which was essentially Cooper Simpson, that we think is going to be a really good long-term player for us. And then also that equated to pick 9 this year. So our job now is to make sure that we maximise the value of pick 9, and I'm confident that we can do that either through trade or through the draft.
We've locked away a lot of players long-term on long-term deals now. Does that make it easier from a list management perspective of knowing what type of player we'll need going forward?
It does, and I think it's a credit to the club too that we've created an environment that our players really believe in, and it's a place they want to be. We do have a lot of players extended long term, and also looking at players that want to come to the club as well. So, it does help from a list management point of view where we're able to pinpoint needs and look at the draft and know what we've got on our lists for the long term. So, it does help being specific and targeting players.
Now, the go-home factor is becoming quite prevalent across the league, and we have examples of a few WA players wanting to return home this trade period. Does that lead to any changes in our draft tactics in the future?
Not really. Like we do a lot of work behind the scenes, interviewing players and making sure that we're bringing in like quality players that are in it for the long haul. So it's something that we put a lot of work into pre-draft. And I think, like I said before, with players committing long term, I think we've got an environment that players want to be at and also players want to join. So it's nice to try and attract players back to WA when the possibility arises. But in terms of us heading into the draft, I think we'll draft players based on the research and the work that we've done, knowing that we think they'll be in it for the long haul.
Now, what happens in this trade period has such an effect on our draft hand. What is the priority when we're making major list management decisions like this?
I think every time we look at a decision, be it at the draft or with the trade or if we do a combination of both, it's just making sure that we've got the best long-term interests of the club at heart. So sometimes you can look to make decisions that are short-term and it's a sugar hit that helps the club immediately but may not be the best decision for the club long-term. So we're always looking to make sure what we think is best for the club at that time and generally looking for the longer term.
There's changes coming to the draft process next year. Do we have anything put into practice in this draft to prepare?
Not so much. There's a little bit of a change to the DVI and how that works. That's the points index for the NGA. So that won't really impact us this year. And then the following year, the AFL's allowing you to extend further into the future with future picks that you can trade so that you can trade 2 drafts in advance. So won't really impact us this year, but will give us more flexibility for next year's trade period so that we can trade further into the future.
Speaking of the NGA system there, the bidding system is going to change again. Is that frustrating 12 months after losing players like Mitch Edwards to Geelong?
It would have been nice to have Mitch Edwards on the list. Jesse Motlop was another player that was in our NGA that would have been eligible to us with the way the system's moving towards. It is a little bit disappointing, but also it's exciting for us heading into the future as well. We think we've got a really good zone, but also think as a club we do it really well, headed by Roger Hayden with our NGA, that we should be able to see some real benefits in the future with some quality players coming through our NGA that we'll be able to get access to regardless of the draft.
Great. Thanks for your time, Wolsey.
No worries. Thanks, Luke.